All right, everyone, we're in a pretty boring market right now. So, government reopened last Wednesday, and as we've been talking about for a couple weeks, we need data to really move interest rates. The big problem is the data is all incredibly delayed. So tomorrow, November 20th, the government is going to be releasing the September jobs report. Remember, labor data is king, right? Labor inflation, always we talk about it. Labor is king. Labor moves markets more than everything. But September, man, that's a while ago. So the September data that's going to be released tomorrow, I just don't think that's really going to move the market or move the needle a certain direction. And the government has already announced they are not going to be releasing the October labor data. Basically, again, one of the very archaic systems that our government uses, but in order to evaluate the unemployment rate, in order to value jobs, what they do is they do household surveys. They call people, they ask them questions, and that's how they do it. They were not able to inquire about some of those household surveys during the month of October because they were shut down. So they have already announced they will not be releasing October data. So we're going to get tomorrow, September, no October. Well, it's November. I don't think that's going to move the market. So in reality, the first week of the month is always the labor data report. So we're looking for December 1 through December 5. That is when we're going to move. That is when the market is going to move. In addition, that's also lining up perfectly with the Fed meeting. The Fed is scheduled to meet on December 10th. And that meeting is very important. And the reason why it's all very important is because we're kind of at this pivot point for interest rates, right? Interest rates went down to about 6.13%. We talked about that. That was about 4 weeks ago today now, right? So 6.13%, that is close to 2.5 to 3 year lows. Last year we saw 6.11, this year 6.13, so it's close. But we have not been able to break below that 6.125-ish barrier for the last 3 years. Every time it gets close, it moves back up, right? And we saw that again. So we got down to 613. We are no longer at 613. We're now ranging in that 6.3 to 6.4 range for mortgage interest rates, right? Now, labor data, the first week of December, and the Fed meeting, December 10th. Both of those are so incredibly important because we're at this pivot point. We've been talking about it. Are we finally going to break that 6.125% barrier? Something that we haven't seen. Are we going to see interest rates in a 5? And again, I'm talking macro, like some interest rates are in the 5s, depending on credit score, FHA, VA, that. But again, Mortgage News Daily, that's what we're evaluating. Are we finally going to see that? And we can. It is possible to see us finally break that 6.125% barrier. But that's only coming with labor data weakness and a Fed rate cut on December 10th. Now, to polar opposite the other way, if labor does not show weakness December 1 through December 5, and if the Fed does not cut interest rates, yes, fully expect interest rates to actually move in the opposite direction. So we're around 6.3 right now. Expect it to move to 6.5. So that's why I'm saying we're kind of in this pivot point. Next week is the week of Thanksgiving, so I don't know how much data is going to move. So I'm expecting us to range between this 6.25% range and 6.4% range all the way up until the first week of December. And truthfully, that first week of December labor data is likely going to allow the Fed to make a decision one way or the other. If it's weak, the Fed's going to have to cut. If it's strong, the Fed will have the ammunition to not cut. We saw several federal chair and women talk today that, hey, the Fed cut is not guaranteed. And that's why you saw CME futures actually move to only a 30% chance of a cut on December 10th. So all this is going to be leaked, but in reality, it's that labor data. That is going to be the deciding factor. Will we officially break 6.1 or will we push back up to 6.5? And again, this is all short term. This is December. Probably likely January. This is not talking about what's going to happen in summer of next year. We'll obviously come out with our predictions for next year. We will likely see interest rates in the 5s. But I'm talking very short term. What's going to happen with interest rates over the next 30 to 45 days? December labor data will decide all. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.